Welcome back to Live from Paris. Shortly, I'll be joined by our art critic, Sean Rose. First, though, when you go to an exhibition, how important to you are the surroundings? Well, an historic collection of photos chronicling the American Great Depression has just gone on show in a disused water tower in a post-industrial part of Luxembourg. Let's take a look.
The trip to the Great Depression starts here, in an elevator headed to the top of a water tower 56 meters above the ground. This gallery is now the permanent home of the Bitter Years, Edward Steken's collection from the Great Depression. These masterpiece pictures from another time, more than 70 years back, seem perfectly in place in the abandoned industrial town of Dudelange. Originally, President Roosevelt ordered the series to show the state of the U.S. Decades later, Steken donated them to his country of birth, Luxembourg.
Although he left Luxembourg when he was very young, he had always felt a strong link to this country, like many immigrants, especially through his mother, who was a very strong woman. She inspired his humanistic views.
New York's Museum of Modern Art had exhibited the pictures for decades. Yet to Luxembourg, Dudelange is their true home. They're a key piece of the country's cultural identity, which it hopes to develop.
People think they know us well. They think we're all about banking. Well, it's true we have these banks, but they don't have as prominent a role as in other countries. It's only a small part of Luxembourg. The country may be small, but it's rich and diverse on the cultural level.
The government has transformed old abandoned industrial sites into galleries. A century ago, this was a bustling area where people produced steel. Gradually, Luxembourg has shut down plants. People now visit the sites where their grandparents used to work. Among them, one of those leading the cultural project.
This is a part of the town's history, of my family history. Today, Dudelange is the home of many immigrants, people with 80 different nationalities. We don't want to lose those backgrounds. We want to remember this history while looking to the future.
Steken's collection shows something of America that may be back today, both in the US and in Europe: unemployment and poverty. The gallery will exhibit contemporary shots next to the ones from the 1930s.
So that's in Luxembourg, and here to tell us all about an exhibition right here in France is our art critic, Sean Rose. Hello,
Hi,
Sean.
Claire.
You're taking us up north then?
Yeah, not too far from Luxembourg, Lille, or near Lille to be precise, Villeneuve-d'Ascq. It is in the Greater Lille region, metropolis, and it's called the magical city, La Ville Magique in French, and it is at the LAM, is Lille Métropole Musée d'Art Moderne, d'Art Contemporain et d'Art Brut. This is a modern art museum and outside the art museum at Lille. And this exhibition is about, it is a fascinating show about the influence of the modern city on the visual arts. You see how it inspired the artists, the Brooklyn Bridge or skyscrapers, high buildings. Why it's the period 1913, 1950, because 1913 is on the eve of the First World War, and then you had most of the avant-garde movements that had already emerged, like Cubism, abstract painting, futurist movement, etc. Every section starts with a film. This is a film called Manhattan, which was a film by Paul Strand and Charles Sheila, and it is very avant-garde. It shows just the city as a subject, not as a backdrop. You have Metropolis by Fritz Lang. It's on Berlin, and you have all sorts of pictures, but also posters and books, because the modern city has really inspired the artists and the writers, like the surrealist, and also all sorts of social and cultural critics, such as Walter Benjamin. What is interesting is that before, the artists had, a vision which was global, and now it's very vertical, and it's with the back streets and the back alleys. You also have a new genre. It's like a pulp fiction and crime and detective stories. So that is very much the atmosphere of the
So it's called Magical City. It seems to be much more than just an exhibition, though, on urban architecture.
Yes, it's not just urban planning, it's just not on architecture only, not just on buildings, though there are many buildings. It's something else. And the director of the LAM, Sophie Levy, is one of the curators who is going to tell us the purpose of this show.
So this exhibition on the magical city focuses on the impressions that the city left on artists of the avant-garde movements of all the Western countries between 1913 and 1950. And what's specific about this exhibition is that it doesn't describe the city as it is, but as it was felt, as it was experienced by the artists and the way they were able to represent it, translate it with various media.
Well, going back, I'd like to go back to the idea of the vertical image. As I said before, it was horizontal, you had a panorama, and this is very vertical. So now most artists could only get like a fragment of the city. This is a beautiful picture of a building by Boutet de Monvel, who's a French actually artist who lived in New York. And you can see it's fragmented. You can't have the skyline. You just have bits of the city, bits of the picture. And you have artists who use also the design of the city, like ads and posters and so on, as like here's a calendar, which is used as an abstract motif. You decontextualize it, and you have all these, it's very graphic, it's very visual, and you have all these visual details that are used. And I love this painting by Georgia O'Keeffe, which is New York with Moon, 1925, and it's really beautiful and it's very kind of magical.
Now, we've seen a lot of buildings there. Obviously, a modern city has a lot of buildings, skyscrapers, but obviously people too, how are they portrayed in this exhibition?
They're portrayed as atomized or lost in a crowd. And this is a painting by Karl Völker, a German artist, and it's called Workers' Lunch Break. And you see they're all kind of very sad. It reminded me of the Beatles song, All the Lonely People. You see the faces and that canteen, the factory's canteen, and you have the brick wall, which is a red brick wall, and it's like seems to pen them in. And it's interesting how, the individual is portrayed as kind of lost in the crowd.
It's quite depressing. Do you have anything more uplifting for us, Sean?
Well, a little comedy or kind of poetic short film by René Clair, because I said there was Paris, New York, Berlin, and now it's Paris. And it's about Paris. It's called Paris Asleep. It's about a madman, a mad doctor who sent a crazy ray on Paris and freezes everybody in the position they were in when the ray struck the city. Nobody moves, and you have only the porter of the Eiffel Tower who lives there above the city is unaffected, and some other people like thieves that can see. You can see they're kind of taking
he gets
advantage.
To move around while
yes,
everyone else
everything
is
like frozen.
That looks fun, and that's near Lille then, and it's on for how much longer?
Well, till the 13th of January 2013.
Okay,
Sorry.
Still a few weeks.
I was a bit frozen then.
All right, thank you very much, Sean. We'll see you again soon, and thank you for watching. Do stay tuned to France 24.